I believe there should be no such word as waste. Because as long as there's a word, we're wasting. So we do everything we can here to turn wastes into resources. And as a result, I feel we live in a much more dynamic environment where everything has a story behind it that's much more exciting than I went and bought that at the store, which then results in I threw the packaging away in the garbage. Well, we have no packaging. Can you turn a waste hunt into a treasure hunt? A resource hunt? So try and look all around you and see what is being thrown away, what is not being utilized that could be shifted so that it is being utilized in such a way that you're improving your quality of life, that of the greater community, and the potential of what is possible is here, rather than degrading the potential. So what are some examples of that? Well, so this light right above my head, this is an old chicken watering can. Was in the garbage. Now it's a dark sky compliant outdoor light. Nice! In addition, I'm standing in shade because it's hot in summer right now, and I'm beneath an awning that is shading me that's made all out of salvaged metal that otherwise would have been in the garbage and a waste. But here, it's shade, it's comfort, it's beautiful light that also helps us see our night sky. Let's first look at the rain. All right? When that free, high-quality water falls from the sky, instead of draining that to the storm drain so that we then have to, at much greater cost, import water that we have to pay for that's of an inferior quality, okay, boom, there's one. 2, let's look at the leaves that are falling from all the trees and the shrubs. Why do we call them leaves? Because you're supposed to leave them where they fall, okay? Because naturally, if you'd let them do that, they would break down, decompose, build the soil up, build the soil fertility up, so the soil would be more porous, so that not only would it feed the plant with those nutrients, it would also absorb more of that rain I just talked about. Okay, so 2 for 1. Manure. What is coming out of my backside on a daily basis? Manure, okay? Dangerous manure if I just left it exposed and open, but if I compost it, then it can become very safe, highly fertile manure or compost. Okay, so every time we start to consume imported resources, be that imported food, imported fuel, imported power, water, and so on, we are instantly on the track of consuming infinitely more imported resources. So the cost keeps going up, up, and up. So the key here is how can we instead shift away from importing resources and to instead just utilizing what's already here and free. This way we can generate as opposed to consume ever more resources. So by planting local seeds within locally built water harvesting basins beside the street, we're able to grow the trees that then shade that same street. We're generating air conditioning that didn't exist before, while also controlling flooding. The water that used to run down the street, now we're taking it off the street to irrigate that tree. So it's crazy that more rain falls on the surface area of Tucson in a typical year of rain than the entire community consumes of utility water in a typical year of rain. So why then do we ignore that potential of that abundance of the rain and instead just drain that rainwater right out of here and then create the need to import water? This Southwest sweet acacia tree was planted in 1996, but there's no bowl-like shape in the soil below it to capture rainfall, so the rain just runs away from it. As a result, it really is stressed by drought. So you can see we've got a whole big branch died off and snapped off. Another branch back here is all dead. This is real typical because even though we have this abundance of rain falling from the sky, very little of that is being absorbed by the soil because everything's draining away from the tree. So we'll show you some examples where we've turned that around and things are doing awesome. Alright, check out this tree. I mean, it is cranking. But it's cranking because this street is not draining the water past it, but infiltrating the water directly to its roots. So that previously wasted stormwater that flowed on out is now infiltrating and then realizing its potential in the canopy of this tree. Love it! So how's this water been, street water, been harvested for this tree? So the curb was pulled out about 8 feet from where the curb used to be. The tree used to be right on the edge of the curb. And then basin was dug out so that the street runoff is directed through the basin to irrigate the plants within and the tree beside before the overflow, not all the flow, continues on down to the next basin along the street. Alright, so I'm going to walk the path of the water flow, the flow of that water when it rains. The water flows off the crown in the middle of the street, which is the highest part of the street, to the curb, flows along the curb, and then, because of this dip in the curb for where there once was a driveway, water flows on in here because we put a berm of earth and rock behind. This whole basin within the public right-of-way fills with public street runoff to about this depth in a good storm, and then it all infiltrates within 20 minutes. So this street runoff is the free water that irrigates the street side trees. Nice synergy. And not only is it harvesting the water, it's also harvesting the leaf drop that fell on the street prior to the rain. So the great thing is, this whole kind of infrastructure, it cleans the street as well as irrigates the trees and the other plants along the street, all for free. Okay, so along with harvesting direct rainfall, street runoff, we can also harvest our household wasted water, such as our gray water. In this case, the water coming from our washing machine. So here we've set up an outdoor laundry shack, and this is the drain hose from the washing machine. Every time we do a load of wash, we stick it in a different pipe. Each pipe irrigates a different fruit tree, as is labeled. And then via gravity, that water just comes out. Here beneath my feet is the white sapote pipe, and then it outlets here to irrigate the wild tomatillo and then the sapote tree behind it. All for free. So we irrigate with our dirty laundry water. Like that.
This laundry to landscape system uses the pump of the laundry machine to move gray water outside with up to 8 irrigation outlets. No need to filter this water if it is irrigating fruit trees or native plants. How about building a simple outdoor shower to enjoy bathing outdoors? Just imagine, your dirty shower water is soaked up by the soil and roots of nearby fruit trees. Next, harvest free solar energy to heat your water and experience steamy luxury. With a simple valve under the sink, you can easily divert gray water to outside basins using the power of gravity. Then you can split the flow and distribute the gray water to multiple areas. The result is a soil-enriching and earthworm-friendly environment that irrigates fruit trees and other edible plants. All of these gray water systems turn wastewater into a free, food-growing resource.
"12 to 14% of the solid waste stream in Tucson, in a typical city, is yard prunings. This is fertility. Why send it to the dump when instead we can reuse it for free to conserve water, build soil, more shade, more food, and so on? The water flow brings in all this leaf drop, this wonderful organic mulch, and all too often people look at this as a waste, which is insane because this organic matter is the primary food source of the soil, and it rapidly increases the rate at which water infiltrates, dramatically decreases the rate at which water is lost to evaporation. So we want this around, and we want it in these basins. All right, then let's also look at when you prune your tree. Okay, instead of throwing that green waste, ding ding, there's the waste word, in the garbage, you could cut it up and put it in amongst your leaves, so you're leaving more good stuff, and then that can build the soil fertility even more and capture even more water, more nutrients, which grows a bigger tree, which then produces more food, more wildlife habitat, more comfort, more beauty. Hey, things are getting better this way, and you never have to go to the hardware store to buy some imported cow manure. Okay? Instead, you're using what's here for free.
Organic yard waste is often one of the largest sources of trash in our cities. Let's turn that trash into a resource by using it as mulch or compost in our yards. Do you have a yard that looks like this? Organic mulch is a great alternative to gravel. Gravel is costly to mine and haul and does little to enhance soil health. Mulch can be an alternative to pavement. Here, asphalt was removed from a driveway and replaced with organic mulch, which helps soak up rainfall and cool temperatures instead of absorbing heat like pavement. Chop and drop prunings, or chip the prunings. Apply as a mulch and you can re-spark life back into your soil. The soil on the left was devoid of life and compacted. By collecting and infiltrating rainwater into the soil, applying tree trimmings to the surface, and growing native plants, this soil was transformed in a few short years. Note in the right photo the darker organic and rich soil developing just below the surface mulch. A healthy soil food web cycles nutrients through critters interacting at all different levels. Did you know that ants, grubs, spiders, lizards, and birds are all essential to healthy soil? See the white stuff? Organic mulch promotes fungal organisms, which work to break down woody materials and transport nutrients and moisture to plant roots. Larger organisms like earthworms or grubs help the soil by creating tunnels, which allow water and air to move through the soil. They also transport organic materials down into the soil. So put away the leaf blower and the rakes and be lazy. Let those leaves alone, drop those prunings, and turn that poor dirt into healthy, organic, rich soil.
Manure. What is coming out of my backside on a daily basis? Manure, okay? Dangerous manure if I just left it exposed and open, but if I compost it, then it can become very safe, highly fertile manure or compost. And I do just that. Okay, so on a daily basis, we turn a pristine resource, drinking water, into something very dangerous, sewage. Because whether or not you know it, by law, we typically have to put drinking water in our toilet. And by law, we have to crap into that drinking water. So when I came upon this realization, my sphincter froze up, okay? And I was constipated painfully for quite some time because I did not want to contribute to that paradigm of turning resources into wastes. I wanted to instead turn waste into resources. And what freed me up and got rid of that constipation has enabled me to be pleasantly, comfortably regular ever since, is learning how to compost. Not only compost my chicken waste and my kitchen waste, but also my human waste. So this, we proudly display, is our thoroughly composted human manure that has been composted for well over a year, and it has become a very safe, highly fertile soil amendment. And we've had this tested at the University of Arizona labs and gotten really good results. So on a daily basis, we can practice turning waste into resources. How does this work? Well, I'm sitting upon the compost toilet, and all my human deposits are collected within this chamber. There's no bottom, it's all collected in there. And then I don't flush with drinking water. Instead, I flush with sawdust, which is from the local wood shop just 3 blocks away. So I'm also turning their waste in this case they're sawdust, into a resource. Because the carbon of this wood shavings, that balances out the nitrogen of my urine and fecal deposits. And so that greatly reduces the odor. So instead of smelling human waste, I smell compost. Very nice. I totally cover my deposits, including the toilet paper, with this sawdust. So the next person that comes along doesn't see any unpleasant fresh deposits. They just see a nice, welcoming nest of sawdust that they can't wait to drop their deposit into, like a fertile egg. After this fills up, we move this platform onto another barrel and let all of this compost for a full year. And then once everything is safe, we put it under our fruit trees. So my waste is generating tasty fruit. And I love that because on a daily basis, I'm reconnected with the nutrient cycle. There's no waste cycle here as there is with a flush toilet, because nothing is wasted, nothing is shunted off. Instead, it's all cycled back into the system to generate more resources, more potential, more fruit, more food. And that leads to a lot more happiness for me, friends, and family.
Let's find a composting toilet that meets your needs. Here is a barrel composting toilet that uses a 5-gallon bucket for easy indoor use. This bucket is emptied regularly into a larger composting barrel outside. Here is a composting toilet built from masonry blocks at an urban community farm. The toilet has 2 chambers. While one is used, the other is composting. This larger design can accommodate more users. An arbor loo is a great composting toilet system if you have more land and want to grow trees. It's simple. Dig a pit and build a toilet platform and privacy structure. Once the pit is full and after it is fully composted, a tree is planted and makes use of the nutrient-rich soil. Then a new location is chosen for the next arbor loo toilet. Along with site-built designs, there is a wide variety of commercial composting toilets that you can purchase. Don't forget about composting animal manure. Chicken poop is great for building soil fertility, especially for a vegetable garden. Here, the food scrap composting pile is located under the chicken roost inside the coop. During the day, the hens pick through new food scraps from the kitchen and turn the compost. At night, their poop adds nitrogen to the compost pile. Not only do you create better compost faster, but the hens help do the work.
Okay, so we live here in the Southwest, currently in Tucson, Arizona, where we have an abundance of sunshine. Right now it's in August. It is hot. Why do we waste the sun? Okay, if we've got this heat, we've got this sunshine, this solar power, let's use it. So instead of cooking inside the house, where we would generate heat inside that we would have to offset with cooling and thus more expense and utility bills, we cook outside in a homemade solar oven. So the heat stays outside where it's no issue. In addition to that, we're capturing the sun's heat with these solar hot water heaters. Okay? Really don't need 2, you just need 1, but we went overboard. And right now we're about 9:30 in the morning, so those will get even more sun as the day goes on. Then behind the solar oven and myself are the solar panels on the roof of the house. We produce over 3 times the amount of electricity that we consume here. So not only are we producing our own power with the sun, we are also providing our neighbors with their electricity with the sun, instead of them needing to contribute to the mining of more coal or the extraction of more natural gas. We are using what is naturally here, abundant and clean. This is an awesome way to turn wastes into resources. You ever used a solar clothes dryer? Check it out. Nice. So this is costs no more than the price of the clothesline and the clothes peg. So let's talk about the water energy carbon nexus. What is that? Okay, so that is the connection of water, energy, and carbon. Anytime we consume water, particularly from a pumped system, we are consuming energy. The energy consumed to pump and treat that water. And likewise, we are emitting carbon into the atmosphere via the power plant that generated that energy. Now we can also look at it in a different context. Let's say rather than consuming water, we're consuming power, maybe to run your clothes dryer. Well, anytime you're doing that, you are consuming power. So at the power plant, you are consuming water, because the majority of our power comes from thermoelectric plants, which heat up by burning fuel, water, that then becomes steam. If you are getting your power from coal, you consume about a half gallon of water for every kilowatt hour of power produced. What the heck's a kilowatt hour? Doesn't really matter. Just keep this in mind. The average household consumes about 1,000 of them a month in the United States. So you're consuming 500 gallons a month in water just in generating your power. But we can greatly reduce that while simultaneously reducing our carbon emissions with real simple and effective strategies, such as this solar clothes dryer. So in my book here, in my Water Energy Carbon Nexus appendix, I've got this awesome, geeky but informative table that tells me the difference between this and an electric clothes dryer. Well, an electric clothes dryer consumes about 6% of your household's energy every month, whereas this consumes 0. And that, how much water then is consumed in that energy consumption? Well, the electric clothes dryer is consuming about 32 gallons of water a month at the power generation plant to generate your electricity to dry your clothes. This consumes 0 water, okay? And then how much carbon is emitted for your electric clothes dryer at the power plant to generate the power for the dryer? 69 pounds a month, whereas this, 0. Love that. And I can fix this. I don't know how to fix an electric dryer. Okay, another way we oftentimes waste things is by hoarding resources. Some of that can be information or insights gained. So we're not into that at all. We're into sharing it. And you can get a lot of what we've been talking about here and a whole lot more from these 2 awesome publications. And you can find these publications at the Watershed Management Group website, which is watershedmg.org, and the harvestingrainwater.com website. Check them out. You'll love it!